self-deception and reality, or the so-called capitalist reality. Okay, in other words, in the last hour of our discussion, I'll focus on the different ways in which Willie is forced to face reality. Okay, the different kinds of reality checks. And just now we read some passages. And for me, it's very important that you read the passages closely to be aware of the subtle interaction of the characters. For instance, the woman, this woman, she is a character. Her words can still Willie's problems. She can still be truthful about Willie's being self-centered, or her role as something which is being kicked around, being thrown around. Okay. Next time we'll read 2 other passages that shows Biff's and Willie's ways of dealing with their failures. You know, Biff's dealing with it by admitting the failure, and Willie by getting another way out. And that way out is closer to Ben's way out than Biff's. Okay, so that's something we'll do close read next time, as well as wrapping up the whole play. Okay, so talking about flashbacks, I think both flashbacks and Willie's experience on the day drive him to face his own failure in the past and in the present. And the lines that I forgot whom Samuel read about Willie thinking that Biff is like a young god, etc. You know, it's very suggestive of Willie's high hope of Biff. Okay, but there are several reasons for the family's failure, or Willie's failure. If we see that Happy and Biff, they are still alive, so there are still chances for them to make it in different ways. So maybe we can say that Willie definitely fails at the end. You know, as a salesperson, he fails because he's fired and he's no longer important. In the Requiem scene, you'll find out that nobody visits his funeral, goes to his funeral. So in that sense, he's also a failure. And there has been one debate over whether this dream is a tragedy or not, or a tragedy in the sense of the Greek tragedy, you know, as Aristotle defines it, or the question of whether Willie can be a tragic hero. I think this is a question we can talk more about next time. Okay, when we try to get your views on Willie, basically to discuss the factors of a tragedy. You know, sometimes we look at it as in 2 aspects. One is environment and one is character. You know, sometimes we say that, oh, this is a tragedy of environment, this is a tragedy of character. Although environment and character both play a role in causing a tragedy. Okay, no single person can create a tragedy by itself. There must be some factors from the environment, like the society, the family, etc. Okay, and that's why here, when I analyze the dreams and their failure, I want to remind you of the environment, the factors from the environment. That this is a capitalist, industrialist society, and in the environment, in this society, the wandering salesman, is no longer popular, or is no longer needed. Okay, and the sources of Willie's dream are all a kind of wanderers or adventurers. Like Willie's father is a wandering salesperson. He's a flute maker. He's always on the road selling his flutes and the other commodities. Okay, and then on page 81, when Willie talks to Howard, he mentions another very famous, successful salesperson called Dave Singleman. And the name itself is important, Singleman. You know, the one on the road being alone, but then being all popular. You know, Willie says on page 81 that Dave Singleman, whenever he goes to a city, he only needs to stay in a room, and then the room will be crowded with visitors. There'll be so many people going to him, wanting to buy things from him, etc. And then at his funeral, there was a crowd. Okay, so that was sometime in the past. Willie's father as a hero, Dave Singleman as a very popular salesman. You know, those are all phenomena in the past. Okay, and that's why Ben becomes the only choice or the only source of role model which is still available, although Ben also dies. But then Willie does not know the father, and Willie only heard about Dave Singleman. And that's why he talks to Ben in his imagination to try to get a solution. And Ben is actually an adventurer, or we can say a colonizer, a capitalist colonizer. He goes out to Alaska to set up the timberland, and then he goes to Africa to get diamonds from the tribal people. So his way of earning money is not really, it's opportunist. You know, he goes to where there are natural resources to plunder, 去抢夺. Okay, so we can say that in talking about the environment, there is both the objective environment and the subjective environment. The objective environment being the whole society, which is no longer the mercantile capitalist society, 就不再是那种商人式的那个资本主义，而是 industrialist capitalist society. Okay, where this type of words of mouth, 就是口耳相传或是 personal selling, you know, is no longer that popular. Okay, but then there is also the personal subjective environment, and that is his family. You know, he does not have a father to teach him, and then he can only look up to the model of the Dave Singleman or his brother Ben as the possible sources of role models. Okay, so these are the factors, external factors. And the internal factors, I think that the most important one is how Willie is not aware of himself, or is not willing to face his own problems. We keep talking about there being self-deceptive, but I think that Willie, Happy, and Biff, they are self-deceptive in different ways. I think Willie is, I think both Willie and Biff are aware of their problems. Okay, and Biff is more willing to face them, and Willie is not willing to face them. And Happy, I think, is one to just cover it up, you know, with some superficial ways, you know, like going out to get women, etc. So Happy is one that is more superficial than the other two characters, who kind of struggle between their dreams and the reality they are aware of, but they are not willing to face. Okay, so I think the different degrees of self-deceptiveness is another factor that leads to their problems, and definitely their lack of efforts. This is especially to compare the Lohman family with the Charlie's family. We see that Bernard is one who is not attractive, but he's hardworking. You know, he's one to care a lot about grace. And also Charlie said at one point that Biff does not have training. No, in other words, the Lohman family, they care too much about appearance, and then names and connections. And Willie does not pay enough attention to the two brothers' education or hard work. Okay, because name and appearance, they are both empty, in the sense that they can be like appearances works only to a certain degree, and then names, you know, they work only temporarily. You know, if you are a big name, maybe you are known to a certain group of people, but people will change, people will come and go. So neither name and appearance will stay with one forever, but skills will stay, knowledge will stay. Okay, I think that's where Charlie and Bernard on the one hand, and the Lohman family on the other hand, differ the most. And that is Charlie and Bernard, I think they are more diligent and more practical about what they need to learn and what they need to do. Okay. Okay, so I think these are the three factors that lead to the failure of the dreams. And talking about the self-deceptiveness, actually none of the family members in Lohman is exempt from it. They are self-deceptive in different ways. Just now I talked about Willie, Happy, and Biff. Actually Linda is also self-deceptive. Okay, she feels something's wrong between Willie and Biff. Okay, but she's not able to face it. And then when she talks to Willie, she keeps saying that, oh, the boys love you, they are so happy with you, etc. So she is also the one to be afraid of facing reality. And then the issue of the rubber tube, too. Towards the end of Act 1, Biff takes it away. And then Linda wants to believe that it's Willie that takes it away. And she's happy about it. Okay, so Linda in the family is also one that looks for short solutions, easy solutions. She's there to support Willie to have his dream. And as long as the dream can be maintained, she's happy with it. Okay, and then, but then later, maybe next time we can also talk about the realistic aspect of Linda. There seems to be some contradiction to Linda too, because on the one hand, she confirms Willie's dream, but on the other hand, she, as a housewife, she needs to care about whether they have money or not. So in that aspect, she is realistic. She's down to earth. Unlike the other men here, who are floating on the surfaces of different kinds, the surfaces of womanizing, or the surfaces of floating around the country, or the surfaces of the past, etc. So the three guys in the Lohman family, they all have their own dreams, and they are all lack of contact. They all lack contact with reality, but Linda has it. Linda has it every day because she's a housewife. Yeah. Okay. Here I'm giving you some examples of the words Happy says to Willie or to Linda. Like he says to Willie that I'm going to retire you, but he has not enough money to do that, and I'm gonna get married. That's something you know. And in Act 2, he also said that. Okay, and even in the requiem, which you are going to read, you'll find out that Biff and Happy, they look at the father's dream differently. Okay, so that's something to look out for. Okay, about the reality checks, I think that in Act 1, reality comes in inevitably in the flashbacks. Okay, while the characters, they are still trying to maintain the optimistic outlook. Okay, so this is something we talked about last time, how the problems of the past emerge, in the flashbacks. I think 3 times. Yeah, 3 times. About Biff's failure, about the woman, and then finally about Biff's failure again. Biff's failure and stealing 3 times. The past emerge. Okay, but the Act 1 ends with they are having another dream. They are having 3 plans. One is to go to Bill Oliver. The other is to set up the Lohman Brothers company, and the third is for Willie to go to Harvard to get a job in New York. Okay, these are the 3 dreams. Or altogether, is to have a dream of their being together, because on the really, although Willie is very unrealistic, but I see a lot of his expressions similar to a lot of parents. Like at the beginning of Act 2, he said, "Oh, I'm going to build another room to the house, so that the 2 brothers, they can live with us if they want to." this I see a lot in a lot of the parents, that they want to have 2 flats in the apartment so that their children can live with them, in the States or here, it's the same thing, although they want to accept the fact that children will go away, but then still they want to keep the hope of their coming back and living with them. Okay, so that's the thing. So I think that the 3 plans come together as one dream of having a happy family together. Okay, and that's the beginning of Act 2. And in Act 2, the memories Willie has, could have been an escape, if he only dwell on the good parts of the past. Okay, for instance, he did try to do that. He did try to remember Ben, to look for the solution, and then remember the moment of the Abbott fields. Okay, the good moments. But then the problem is that there are more factors in reality that reminds him of the past failure and the present failures. So there are elements in reality that stop him from being like self-indulgent in the past. Okay, so so facing reality for Willie is inevitable. For instance, he gets fired by Howard. So this is one thing he just has to face. Because being fired means that he not only not get a job in New York, he loses the money. He won't have the money. Okay. Also, at one point, in Howard's discussion with Willie, he says that then you can depend on the 2 sons. Okay, and then he said that there's no time for forced pride, Willie. Okay, and I think that Howard is right in saying that. Okay, but Willie's problem is that he is indeed proud. He is above getting a job from Charlie, or he's above asking the 2 sons to take care of them, to give them the money for the installments and for the debts, etc. Okay, so this is one problem of Willie, and it's kind of pointed out by Howard that he has this false pride. Okay, and then he sees Bernard, and he sees Bernard, and then Charlie also says that Biff never trains himself. So that's another element of reality that is brought to Willie to make him realize that a lot of things have been wrong in the past and in the present. Okay, and also I think it's with Bernard's episode that the woman's laughter start to appear, because Bernard asks, really, it really all seems very inevitable that the past will have to be revealed, because Willie asked Bernard what the secret is. Okay, and then Bernard has to ask Willie what the secret was. Okay, let's take a look at that part. Page 95. This is where the group stopped the reading, right? The group read till. Oh no, this is a. The group read this part. Before, not this part. 85. Sorry. Okay, I want to read you two short passages here. One is this is after the Howard episode. Okay, and then Biff remembers and talks to Ben. And then on 85, he remembers the Abbott episode. Let me read you a few lines from Charlie here. Just right in the middle, Charlie said, as they go, "Not a homer, Biff, not a homer. I I don't think that was funny, Charlie. This is the greatest day of my life. Will it? When are you going to grow up? Yeah, huh? When the game is over, Charlie, you'll be laughing out of the other side of your face. They'll be calling him another Red Grange. 25,000 a year. Is that so? Yeah, that's so. Well then, I'm sorry, Willie, but tell me something. What? Who is Red Grange? Put up your hands, goddamn you. Put up your hands, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so here, Charlie, because Willie is puts so much importance on the epiphile game, but Charlie, on the spot, kind of deflates the dream to say that, the epiphile is, Red Grange. The Red Grange is a famous football player or basketball player, baseball player. You know, he's a very famous sports person. Okay, so Willie's dream is for Biff to become another Red Grange, but Charlie said, "Who is Red Grange?" So in the business world, he doesn't recognize him. You know, and this sportsman is not important. And then let's read what Charlie says after that. Before. A little bit before the part that I read, he said, "Don't you listen to the radio? Epiphile just blew up." Okay, so here, all the way through, he's joking. He's joking about what Willie thinks to be important. You know, epiphile can be blown up. Epiphile can be gone. And Red Grange is important for Willie, but not important for Charlie. Okay, so this is one example of the so-called reality checks that we get a lot in Act 2. The other one happens when Willie meets Bernard. Let's take a look at 87. You know, after Willie sees how Bernard is successful, he's now a lawyer and he's going to play tennis, etc. Then he smiles and small and alone, says, "What's the secret, Bernard? What's secret? How did you? Why didn't he ever catch on? I wouldn't know that, Willie. You were his friends." Okay, and then Bernard said, "He never trained himself for anything." Yeah, this is actually Bernard, not Charlie. So Bernard actually points out the truth about Biff. You know, why Biff becomes a Rolling Stone and becomes not successful. And then because of that, Bernard cannot help himself asking the question about what happened in that summer. And this is where Willie has to face the past, okay, because Bernard asked. Let's take a look at page 88. You know, Bernard says that, actually, Biff considered taking the summer class. And Biff actually thought about trying. But then he gets completely changed after his trip to Boston. And here, he said that after his trip to Boston, Bernard and Biff had a big fight. Let's take a look at what he said. "We had a fist fight," the second line, 88. "It lasted at least half an hour. Just the two of us, punching each other down the cellar and crying right through it. I've often thought how strange it was that I knew he'd given up his life. What happened in Boston, Willie?" Willie looks at him as at an intruder. "I just bring it up because you asked me." Okay, this is where the question came up. And for Willie, Bernard is like an intruder, because it is Bernard that forces Willie to face that past. Okay, so this is the second example after Howard. The second example of the reality checks for Willie. And then we have Charlie. You know, because in the past and in the present, you know, on the one hand, Charlie is clumsy, So Willie looks down upon Charlie. But then, when Willie has to borrow money from Charlie, he has to acknowledge the fact that Charlie is more powerful. And then towards the end of their meeting, Biff says that it's interesting that you are the only friend of mine. So that's another reality that he has to admit. Towards the end of that visit. Okay, and then we have the passage that the group has read about Willie's wanting to find comfort or find hope in Biff. That's the other one. And finally, when the two sons left him alone, then Willie is left alone to face the most traumatic moment in the past, and also to try to find out the answers and the solutions. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that in the beginning of Act 2, let's take